Hi and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast. I'm man DT. I'm back again, as troops would say. Obviously, I wasn't here last week. It was a good little podcast. What's his name? I forgot the guy's name. The Tottenham guy. He was good.
Yeah, Michael. He was
and Jordan
really
doing
good.
a great job.
Yeah.
Comparing. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was nice to have someone hosting that doesn't talk over me.
I talk over you now, do I?
All the time.
Oh.
The comment section is always full of, will Robbie just shut up and let DT talk?
I think that's you.
Nah.
I know you got multiple accounts. You go on there, you start, you know what I mean?
It's never
I reckon
me.
That's you. I reckon that's you in there.
It's
trying to, when
never,
everyone's having a go at
me.
you and slagging you off, you know what I mean?
No, it's never me. I'm behaving myself.
Ready for the Blood Brothers thing?
Yeah,
now
I'm ready for it.
You know what? I saw your comment, right? I was looking on your Instagram. The wait is nearly over. The DTFC pre-season Blood Brothers episodes are dropping next week on my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. After everyone else's boring episodes, it's time to show you what can be done. I cannot wait to see just what... I cannot wait for you to see just what I've been up to and what I've brought in with me. AFTV, hold on to your seatbelt because it's about to get bumpy. What's all this about, man? You love to run up your mouth, innit? That's you know the thing about you, right? Is that you love to shoot up your mouth.
I'll let him talk for a second.
You love to shoot.
I'll let him talk for a second.
Now you're talking over me, yeah?
No, I'm going to let you talk.
You love to shoot up your mouth, yeah? I only hope that when it goes bad for you, you take it as a man. You can handle it. Because this is the problem I notice with you. You like to give it, but when it comes down on top now, can you handle the heat?
Right. Now, I'm going to speak. The one who's actually been the quietest is me and my team, right? I saw a video the other day, yeah? I saw a video of AFTV playing. And you were doing that. No, because it was for a really worthwhile cause. It was the charity tournament that you involved yourself in to do with knife crime and everything else. I thought, unbelievable, charity and everything that's going on. So I was then watching it because a lot of people had told me to go and see certain things on it. So I thought, okay, let me go and have a look. You lot have just won the tournament, right? We're not there. We're not involved in any way, shape or form or anything. That's the only reason
we won it, because you were involved.
No, I'm saying me and my team should have no relevance to your players or your thoughts at that time. You've literally just won the trophy and your players are singing songs about my team.
No, about you.
About my team.
About you.
We are all one.
About you.
DTFC.
Because, listen.
No. It says, wait, don't talk over me. Hold on a minute. They say, what do you think of DT's team?
Now, what do you think of DT?
No. The first words are...
What do you think of DT?
No, the first words are...
What do you think of
DT's team?
We hate DT, yeah, we hate DT.
And then, when we was at the kit launch and everything, all I see was your players running their fat lips constantly, Listen, let them talk,
It's all good, but as I said...
It's all good.
It's because you give it so much.
I haven't said a word.
You represent yourself.
Yes.
FAFTV, you done it again there. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I know. Just now.
And what I'm saying, you constantly... Hold on. I have no problem with it, yeah? Because I'm a man, you know me, I can take banter. But what I'm saying is, when you give it out now, make sure you can take it.
Don't worry.
If it all goes wrong. Don't go pushing down people on the pitch.
Don't worry about me.
Don't go running on the pitch. Don't go losing it like you did against Louis' team. The, what are they called? Canary Wolf? What are they called again? Imperial Wolf. Don't go losing it like that.
About me.
As long as when you give it out, when it comes back, you can handle it.
Trust me.
It's, you know what? Suppose you was a professional footballer.
You're getting
Suppose you was Xhaka.
You're getting it and then some.
Suppose you was Xhaka.
Trust me. Your team.
You don't want to fight everybody, wouldn't you, when they're giving you a bit of stick?
No.
You like to give stick. You've got to be able to take it.
I can take stick. I can take it. I can take it within reason. Do you know what I mean? I can take it within reason.
No, you can give it.
No. I can take it within reason.
You can give it.
At the end of the day, like I said,
Anyway, no, this would be interesting. It's going to be.
Will.
It's going to be.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We got our first game coming up. We can't even reveal it. I see you revealing all your games and that, but you.
No, we're allowed to reveal the games, not the locations. I've already checked with management. There's not a problem with that. You can reveal the games, the dates, but just not the locations, because the issue that everyone has is if we get loads of people turning up to watch the game, they're going to start going on social media, revealing the score line, etc.
We've got our first game tomorrow. But we're looking good. You know what I mean? We've had a nice little pre-season. We played some tough games in pre-season.
Tough week. We played some real tough games.
No, you've had easy games. You played a lot of easy.
Behave yourself, mate.
Easy games.
Behave yourself, man. Yeah. Seriously.
Oh, you have had some tough games. Imperial Wolf is a tough game for you.
Shut up, you silly boy. We played some.
You see, I told you. He can't take it.
No,
he can't take it.
That's only your backside, man.
Listen, that is only a smidgen. Let me tell you something. If you don't win the Blood Brothers tournament,
turn Jardy again now.
If you do not win that tournament, oh my God!
If you don't win it,
maybe you won't want it. No, but I can handle it.
If
we don't win it, you can come, you can give me stick. I can take it. I don't know if you can take it, and you're gonna get a lot. A lot.
I love it.
Not just from me.
I love it.
And I'll be like the least person you'll be getting it from. So as long as you prepare for that.
That's all good, man.
Yeah, by the way, I got another one of them 888 Sport videos for you. You know, 888 Sport are always sending us some little thing to debate. You love the debate, man. You love the debate.
I don't like debating. I like being a good boy.
Well, you ain't going to be a good boy.
Show me the video this week.
Right, check this one out.
I would still have Jordan Henderson over Harry Winks.
Henderson?
Yes.
Henderson. England's got nothing in the middle. Bagel FC, fam. They got nothing in the middle. We got Harry Winkerbell, blood.
Harry who?
Miliesta, fam.
Miliesta.
Pixie dust, blood. Are you nuts? He's a box-to-box midfielder, yeah? Don't get me wrong, his finishing ain't that great, innit? You know them way there. But he always looks up, always passes forward. You know them way there.
No.
See, he could what do you mean? Who got to bring?
I would still have Jordan Henderson over Harry Winks.
Henderson?
Yes. What do you mean Henderson? Henderson?
Fam, I'd rather have Macaulay Culkin in our midfield than Jordan Henderson.
His passing range is absolutely quality.
During that World Cup, man, I wanted to kill him. The amount of times he just booted it off the pitch.
I guarantee you, there's not a midfielder in this world that will see Jordan Henderson in the starting lineup of the other team and go, oh yeah, I'm going to love playing against him today. No one wants to play against Jordan Henderson.
I reckon Kante says that every season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think plenty of midfielders go.
Listen,
we got Endo today. This will be an easy one.
Harry Winks, yeah, all the great midfielders.
I'm talking about Miliesta, blood. Put some respect on his name,
name me a game where he's dominated in midfield, because
against Real Madrid.
He didn't dominate.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Mate.
Comment below. No, bun this, fam, because this guy don't know what he's talking about, yeah?
Mate, I feel sorry for you.
You need a drink. You need a drink.
I can't believe you guys want
Is there vodka in that?
Harry Winks over.
How come I never got
Harry Winks over Jordan Henderson?
Unless you've got players around you, like the creative, like the Christian Eriksen sort of thing. Who's England's Christian Eriksen, fam? Who? Don't say Dele Alli. Because they play in the same team, fam. No, fam.
Exactly.
No, don't say Jesse Lingard.
No,
I wasn't going to say anything about Jesse Lingard.
Fam?
I think England's biggest problem isn't how they start and set up a game. I've never seen England change a game through substitutions and tactical
That's what
changes.
I'm saying, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
My man, yeah, got the same formation. That's it, brother. The thing just looks the same. It's like buying a flipping pack of Dairy Lunchables, fam. You know them way there, bro. It's just gonna look the same. You stack it the same thing. But man can't change nothing. You get me, fam? Man wants some black pepper or something, fam. You know them way there.
Right, lads. So, anybody that you think within the current England setup that we should potentially ship out?
Not potentially, definitely Jordan Pickford.
Sure.
Listen, when you're a centre-back, you want to know your keeper behind you was calm,
Jordan
he's
Pickford's
ready.
got your back.
Jordan, he couldn't even touch the bar.
I've seen the ball go in the back of the net and then the man dived after, you know.
You forgetting about his performance against Spain, out in Spain, where England, which was absolutely terrific. Who are you dropping for, Jack Butland?
No, Jack Butland, actually, yes. If he got his move back to the Prem, he would be...
You are having a wind-up.
No.
Pickford's distribution is incredibly better than Jack Butland's.
That's all Jordan Pickford's got, distribution, fam. Man might as well have ASOS.
It's actually not.
No, they're not real to all he's got.
Look, as you guys have pointed out, the small arms thing, for a guy with small arms, or supposed small arms.
I love what it says about golf.
How many good...
For a guy with small arms.
How many good... Yeah, but he still pulls off some pretty impressive saves.
He pulls off decent saves and makes them look pretty impressive.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's full stretch, because of his tiny arms.
It does make me laugh, though.
You know when you can catch the ball and then you punch it over the bar, like...
Who is there out there who potentially we could build a side around to go on and crown us champions Euro 2020?
If I was to nominate one guy, I would say Raheem Sterling. There's definitely players like Kane as well, maybe, or someone like that. But I think Sterling, he's very much emblematic of this England setup with Southgate. And I think he's really important to this team for what he brings on the pitch and also what he means off it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned Kane there, because we should be incredibly thankful for Harry Kane.
Real talk, we've got to build a team around Kane. I'm not saying let's make him captain, because we both know him giving out orders won't be the best thing to be listening to. But at the same time, give him some authority. He's our guy, bruv.
I would also build a team around Harry Kane. My biggest hang-up with him is bring him off when he's not doing what's needed. Harry Kane can have a really bad game and still get the 90 minutes.
Yeah, because Harry Kane could be turning in a 6 for me. I'm not taking him off because there's always, as you very well know,
I'm just looking at the Croatia game.
There's just something just
Yeah,
happens.
but Harry Kane's got a goal at any moment,
it.
whereas Sterling, I rate Sterling very highly, but he's the man that will run through and goal in the last minute and hit it over, fam. And then the whole country's against him.
All right, so Harry Kane. Shall we build the England team around Harry Kane? You know what? First of all, actually, no Arsenal players in the England team. Not one Arsenal player.
There's more Spurs players than Arsenal players, and that's why they win nothing. So, should we go back to the original question?
Do you support the England team now when they're playing? I mean,
only during the World Cup.
This weekend coming up, will you be supporting the England team?
No, I'm doing the gardening.
You won't be supporting England?
I'm gardening.
I will. I'll still be supporting England. I still want England to win.
No.
I was at the World Cup. I remember I was at the World Cup in Russia.
Now, was you? I never knew that.
And I remember when Harry Kane scored, I was jumping up and down. And then after I was like, yeah, man, that feels weird. Jumping up and down for Harry Kane. But listen, he was playing for England.
Yeah. He also cost us as well by not squaring the ball.
True. Well, yeah, what they were saying as well. Would you build an England team around Harry Kane?
Nope.
Biasness aside now.
Nope.
Why?
Nope. I'll tell you who I feel my England's most important player is. Raheem Sterling.
Okay.
By a mile. If we can get him playing anything like he does for Manchester City, we could genuinely go on and cause a lot of problems and maybe win the Euros.
Would you have Kane in the team though?
Kane would be in the team because he can score goals, but I just feel that Raheem Sterling's more important.
I do think the England team sometimes, like, we're obsessed with Harry Kane. Like, don't get me wrong, and it's no biasness now. He is a top quality player. He really is a top quality player. We even saw in the game against Arsenal, you know, he scored a penalty. His record against Arsenal, he hit the ball, that one that would come up back off the post. He is a potent striker, but I do think that we depend on him too much. It's almost as if sometimes, like, the managers doesn't want to drop him out of the team. And you saw, I think that's what cost Tottenham even winning the Champions League, right? Because they didn't want to put Lucas Moura, scored a hat-trick in the semi-final, and yet again, too much dependency on Kane. So, but
he's like the golden boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But no, sorry.
So you won't be supporting Arsenal. Sorry, you won't be supporting
get it right.
England this weekend.
Nope, I'm gardening.
You're not supporting England?
I hope they win. Well done. But I won't be watching it. I'm gardening. I'm being serious.
Well, listen, I want to get your comments on it. We're going to put a link in the description. Watch the whole video. It is really, really good from 888 Sport, and comment on that. I want this. Why are there no Arsenal players? You know, when are we going to start getting some Arsenal players in that team?
When the youngsters start adapting and getting further forward, then we'll have the likes of Reece Nelson, Joe Willock, etc.
I don't want to be going to the Euros next year and again, like, Tottenham. Oh, come on. And do we depend on Harry Kane for the England team? Do you care? Let us know. Comment on that video from 888 Sport and let us know what you think. Let's talk about Arsenal. Of course, the North London derby. And obviously, I saw you guys on the show last week discussing it, and even the Tottenham guy wasn't too confident that they'd get a result. As it turned out, they got a point. We let them off the hook.
Yeah, massively. I think you only have to look at the players' reactions after, even on social media, the likes of Aubameyang and that, and the stuff that they've been putting out, the stuff that they've been tweeting. the players feel like that's 2 points dropped. Yes, there is that sense of it's good to have come back from 2-0 down, because in the Premier League it's difficult to do that. But we should never have been in that situation in the first place. And the fact that Spurs are walking away from there going, you know what, I'll take a point, when they were 2-0 up, and we're disappointed at a point after being 2-0 down, kind of shows you how the balance of play went, especially in the second half. We were absolutely so dominant in that second half. We were all over them. And, you know, if it wasn't for VAR, we would have had the third goal and we would have won that game. But
to be fair, the linesman had his flag up anyway.
Yeah, it's just so annoying. It's so frustrating. But, you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it was just a bad opening 20 minutes. And these are the mistakes that we've been making for a number of years. Opening 20 minutes.
Gifts. You know the thing that annoys me? I've watched back the game twice now. It's gifts.
It is.
You know what I mean? If a team works hard for their goal, like what we had to do, right? And, you know, we had to absolutely pepper them left, right and centre to get back in the game. But with our goals, and we saw it the week before again against Liverpool, gifts. You cannot give teams like Tottenham, Liverpool, these top teams, you can't give them gifts.
No.
Gift wrap goals. The first goal, Leno. I mean, come on, you've got to.
Yeah.
I don't even think he should be pushing it out. I think he should be gathering that in. I mean, we did a show during the week, Kevin Campbell's show, and he was saying that he felt that he was slightly wrong-footed, and that's why
he was.
And then he ended up pushing it out. There's nobody following it in. Where's Socrates? Why was Socrates going into the middle of the park to try and win a header?
That was the first part of the whole basis of it. When I watched it back, I didn't realise at the time, you know, you get one view when you're at the game live. And when I watched it back, I was sitting there thinking, why is Socrates challenging our own player to win a header in the centre of the park?
He's in the centre of the park with Xhaka.
Yeah, and he tries
challenging for a header, puts Xhaka off in a way. Harry Kane won that, which he won every header throughout the game, every flick on.
And they're in the space that he's just left.
Right, and he's left a massive hole, an experienced player like that.
Yeah.
But then even said that, the keeper has got to do better, hasn't he?
What I say is that you do look at it, and I agree with what Kevin Campbell was saying, that a lot of what goalkeepers do is anticipation. They kind of read where a player's going to put the ball and they get themselves set. Same with free kicks and that kind of stuff. He was thinking that the ball was going to go down to his left, and he set himself to go left. Realised late that it was actually going the other way. And when a keeper's feet are moving, it's hard to rebalance and get yourself back over the other side. And, you know, it'll go down as an error. But what I will say about Leno is that he never let it affect him. He made a world-class save 5 minutes after from Son to keep us in the game.
He did nearly do the same thing again, though, later on in the game, where again, he saved it, but it was nearly pushed it out again.
But what I say about Leno is that he will win us more points than he will ever lose us. He's a top-draw goalkeeper. He's one of the best in the Premier League. And we've seen all throughout last season what he can do. Yes, he will have some weaknesses. And
there are a few little errors like this, though, isn't it?
Well, listen, goalkeepers make errors.
Goalkeepers make errors, but he's had a few little ones like these now that have been, you know, I remember last year, Southampton, he's had a few errors where you look on it and think, hey, come on, man, the top keeper don't make them.
Yeah, but you say that, Robbie, but you even look at De Gea. Right, how many errors has he made in the last year or so? De
Gea's having a terrible time at the moment.
But this is what I'm saying. Keepers, they go through times. I remember when Alisson first came to Liverpool, he tried dribbling out on the edge of his own box against Leicester away. Lost the ball, you know, realised that he couldn't get that kind of time in the Premier League that he may have got in Serie A. And it happens. Goalkeepers, they're in a position where they're never going to have a perfect game every single week throughout the course of a whole season. We're lucky to have a goalkeeper of Leno's calibre when you think about some of the clowns that we've had in goal before.
So first goal, gift wrap. The second goal, the penalty.
Please don't start me off on this because it's really
even worse. Now, Granit Xhaka, who I said at the start of the season, I remember we was talking about who should get the captaincy, and I said I'd give it to him because, you know, I do feel that, like, on the pitch, he has leadership qualities and stuff like that. However, he makes a lot of mistakes. I think there's some stat going around that he's made more mistakes than any other player in the Premier League, which is damning. I mean, he's playing at Arsenal, and he makes these mistakes that you think, yeah, hold on, what's that about? Yeah. We saw last year against Brighton in that vital game. A lot of people argue that cost us the Champions League football. That stupid penalty that he gave away then. Then this one now, you're 1-0 down against Tottenham. You're 1-0 down's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? You get one goal back. You saw when we got the one goal back against them towards the end of the first half, the panic that set in with them and the way we were just able to go at them. Now, had it have been just one goal we had to retrieve,
we'd have won the game.
You'd have fancied us to go on and win the game. But 2 goals, you're up against it. What is your captain doing coming through the back? You know what? If that tackle would have been slightly higher, it could have been a red card as well.
That's reckless.
What's look, you know, I don't understand it.
Do you know what? The thing is, people keep asking me this question because I'm the one who's always backed him, and there's a good player in there, but the mistakes have just became too much now that I can't defend him anymore.
You gave him a 0 in the player ratings.
Yeah, because I was fuming. I was so pissed off with that tackle. It was so stupid. I got no problem with a player giving away a penalty, for example, that makes a genuine attempt to win the ball. A genuine attempt to try and, you know, it happens in the game. You give away penalties, but there's genuine attempts. The David Luiz penalty that he gave away, stupid. You know, you should not be giving it away.
Another gift-wrapped present for a big team.
The incident with Xhaka, the ball was not in a dangerous position. He was not getting a shot away. He was actually laying it out to the edge of the box where we had loads of men covering. And at the time it happened, you always gauge things within a crowd. You know, the ooh and, you know, going mad at the ref. Everyone was like... Nobody said nothing at the ref. There was everyone around going, blatant penalty, blatant penalty. And I was watching Xhaka at the time, and I think it was Harry Winks that got round Maitland-Niles very, very easily as well. And when Xhaka gave the penalty away, the first thing he did, he put his arms up at Maitland-Niles as if to say, like, it's your fault for letting him get behind in the first place. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, honestly, man, I need to see it again. And when I watched it, I was just like, what on earth are you doing, out of nowhere?
Man? Did you see the I think it's Sky.
He done an interview in Switzerland.
And he didn't really take any of the... Now, listen, I'm not saying, right, that he should, like, say, yeah, you know, it's all my fault, boy, blah, blah, I'm really sorry. And I'm not expecting that. No. But I don't know, man, in that interview where he's just talking about how many chances we missed, it was almost like he's saying, yeah, well, hold on, strikers are to blame as well. Hold on, no, they're not.
No. Do you know what my thoughts on that whole interview that he did? I get what he's saying in terms of, you know, we only ever remember the mistakes, not the overall game. Because in the second half, Xhaka had a brilliant second half.
He played brilliant. He played brilliant. He was excellent in the second half.
But the problem is, and this is the half of the criticism that I've had because I keep sticking up for him and stuff like that. But if this was Xhaka's first and only ever mistake for the club, we could turn around and hold our hands up and say, you know what? It's one of those things. One of those moments of madness. It happens. We move on. He had a great half in the second half. He was a leader. He did all these things. But because this is not his first, his second, his third, his fourth, his fifth, I can keep going with how many times he's made these mistakes.
So
because of that, you've got to look at it now and say, yeah, he is. Because
he's a captain.
Well, look, I look at when he got the red card when he first come here, for example, that incident that happened on the halfway line, right? I don't think that was
the one when the
guy was getting away. I don't
think that was a red card.
I don't think that was a red card.
And I could understand why he did that one. He chopped down the player.
He just did it a bit too hard.
Yeah.
And the one criticism, when you take
one for the team, sometimes you just...
But what do we always say, you know, about players? Take one for the team sometimes. Bring a man down. Let's rebuild. Don't let them counter. I've got no issues with that. Crystal Palace, the penalty. The guy's going out of play. Why are you even putting your hand up? What moment of madness goes through your mind where you go, you know what, let me touch him?
Is it a lack of concentration?
Lack of concentration, lack of discipline, lack of...
But
I don't understand it.
He's the captain.
I know, but this is
That's
the
what
thing.
I'm saying. If
and
it would
he's
have been,
not an inexperienced
if it was
player.
Maitland-Niles, if it was Guendouzi, you know what I mean, one of the young guys, I would have said, well, you know what? But he's the captain of Switzerland, captain of Arsenal.
He was the captain of Gladbach.
Well,
there's no excusing it, and I can't. And this is the thing. I do think there's a player in there, but maybe he's not the player for the Premier League. Maybe he is best suited to, you know, a slower pace. Like, with all due respect to the German league, although it's a great league, it's not up to the pace of the Premier League, or maybe Serie A or somewhere like that. But these moments of madness are costing us, and they're so... I believe Xhaka is now in a category that he won't be able to get himself out of within the Arsenal fan base. You kind of go in a pigeonhole where fans will just continually dig at you no matter how good you play. Do you
think if you as a manager, would you pick him in the next game?
I wouldn't.
The Watford?
I wouldn't, because I feel
they've got a very physical midfield.
I feel,
and he is one of those players that brings a lot of physicality to the team.
I just feel that maybe now Emery needs to be strong about it. I think that he needs to look at the whole situation as a whole and say there's too many errors now. You know, Emery's been ruthless along with the backroom team in terms of who he doesn't want at the club and get rid of them. And like I said, I feel Xhaka's got himself in that pigeonhole now where he could be man of the match against Watford, but yet people will still find something to slag him off about. They will still, you know, we look at the Liverpool game, for example, he was not the worst person on the pitch at Anfield. But yet the first name that comes out of everybody's mouth in defeat is Granit Xhaka. But yet he wasn't the worst player. So now people are not being objective anymore. They're not looking at it and saying, you know what, Xhaka didn't do too bad today. I know I don't rate him, but today he didn't do too bad. They're instantly going, we lost, Xhaka was in midfield, you're shit, get out. And this is the problem we've got now because of the mistakes and everything else. He's now fallen in that category where no matter how well he plays, he's going to be classed as being poor if we've lost the game. In
that game as well, Ozil on the bench, right? And then the manager decides he brings on Ceballos. Mm-hmm. Are we seeing the end of Ozil?
I think so.
Is Ozil dropped behind like Ceballos now when it comes to selection? I mean, I know he'll be a bit rusty. He's played very few games, but
I would still say Ozil's more of a number 10 than Ceballos is, but Ceballos is more of a box-to-box number 8. And Emery himself has actually turned around and said that Ceballos is more comfortable behind the number 10, not a number 10. So I feel that it may not be fully over yet for him, but I feel that we're slowly starting to push him out. And I feel Ozil could be one of the ones that we have to cut our losses on.
Because like a lot of
and Alexis and
check it out. I mean, offloading a lot of dead wood. Mkhitaryan went out on loan this week again. Yep. He came on in that game. Weird that he was going out on loan and we played him in the game.
I did say that, but Mkhitaryan came out and said that it all happened after the Spurs game. There was nothing beforehand, so we can't moan at Emery for I can moan at him for bringing him on because I don't think he should have brought him on. He should have brought him on
before Ozil.
Well, Ozil and Reece Nelson. You know, I would have rather Reece Nelson run at, the Tottenham right back who was Sissoko, I think. They didn't even have a recognised right back. That's what annoyed me as well.
That was the Sanchez one he was playing.
Yeah, no, you know, and
it was on the left or one of them. Yeah,
it was kind of such an imbalance, and I just but yeah, Mkhitaryan as well.
Mkhitaryan's gone. Monreal's gone. El Nini's gone out on loan.
There's one
Mustafi's
person left.
He's still here.
There's one person
The next scapegoat, he's still here.
Well, do you know what? I done a video on this the other day, and I said, what do we do with him now? And I said that we're not in a position of Man City where we could let him rot in the reserves because he's on about 100 grand a week. We can't afford to do that.
100
so
grand
I'm looking at it and I'm saying, right, it's very clear that we're getting rid of him. All right? Let's try and utilise him as best we can. Make him earn his wage.
He'll play in the Europa League games.
League, Carabao Cup against Nottingham Forest. Let's try and get him in a bit of form.
What about this, though? Why not play him as a right back? We've got a problem at a right back at the moment.
I knew you was going to say that.
No, listen.
No, I did mention that as well.
Maitland-Niles going forward is very good. Although I would love to see him beat the defenders more. He's got pace. He's got brilliant skill and technique.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him like getting past, and he's got a decent cross on him as well when he gets into positions. But defensively, still question marks. Yeah. What about playing Mustafi there on the right? You know what I mean? Like, all right, he's not going to get forward as much, but
he was World Cup winner
in certain games. He won a World Cup playing as a right back, and in certain games as a right back, maybe he won't get as exposed as much out wide.
Yeah, because he's more defensive. I would...
Because like you said, he's here now. We're going to have to play him. And the other thing is as well, and which I really hope, and you sort of made that point a minute ago with Xhaka, but I hope that fans get behind him now. He's here. What worries me is, again, he's another one of those players that's
in that.
He's in category. That mould that, like, it's all his fault, no matter what. I saw games towards the end of last season where I thought towards the end of last season, Socrates was worse than Mustafi. But it was Mustafi getting all the stick.
Do you know what? We were actually speaking about this last week. It was me and a couple of my mates talking about it, and one of them said they watched the player ratings from Baku again, and I was like, I've not even watched it, to be honest with you. I don't wanna. And they said to me that we were mentioning that we were probably better off in that final if we would have started with Mustafi, and I'm like, because towards the end of the season he was
I think
all right.
like even in his stats he wins a lot more aerial duels than Socrates. Socrates not great in the air, but I mean, he's going to get attacked. I hope he doesn't get attacked. We've got to give him a chance now. He's here. He's here till at least January, right? And I feel he'll play a role. Because we got all these Europa League games, we got League Cup games, right? As well as if somebody's not playing well in the Premier League, he's got to be primed and ready to be able to come in. Holding's still not 100% yet.
Oh no, he's back. He's back after the international.
100%.
No, but he's back after the international break.
Even back after the international break, you still got to ease him in. He's coming off of a really bad injury, right?
Course,
so let Mustafi, and also, as we know in football, there's no point in having a player like a Mustafi if you want to sell him and he's just sitting there doing nothing, because then the value goes down. Because rather, if you put him in the team and he's having some game time, he's visible, his value will go up. So we're going to have to play him.
Or the catch-22 is we give him a chance and he still plays crap and his value goes even further down.
Well,
but it's... look, I said this in my video. I said, look, at the end of the day, I don't like the guy as a player. I don't hate him as a person. I just don't rate him as a player. And I think that the best thing for him to do is move on for every party.
You put him as a right back.
But
I want to see him as a right back.
He is a player at Arsenal Football Club right now. So the best thing we can do is get behind him till January. And then when he finally goes, wish him well, dust ourselves off, and we move on to, bigger and better things. So
then the next question marks is, what's been emerging a lot over the past week or so, Unai Emery, the manager. Now, took a lot of stick after the game as well for his tactics. You, again, I heard you saying that, why is he gone so defensive? It's Tottenham. But let me give you, before you answer that, let me give you my theory why he has been going so defensive. Basically, he's looked at the back four and he said they're rubbish. They're not very good. No, seriously, he's looked at, maybe not rubbish, but he's looked at the back four and said, I can't depend on this back four. In that game against Tottenham, he's like, right, I want to play the front three. I want to play Pepe, Lacazette, Aubameyang, because I know they're going to be so worried about that. But if I play that front three, I know that Pepe's not really going to get back much. I know that Aubameyang's not going to really get back much and help out on the flanks. We got a back four that has Maitland-Niles on the right and Kolasinac on the left. Both of those not the greatest defensively. They need help. And they're not going to get that help from those front three. And then obviously we've got David Luiz, who had a shaky game to say the least against Liverpool. and Socrates, who, as we said, already in that game made a load of mistakes. So he's looking at it and thinking, if I'm going to play a front three, then I need to have a proper shield in front of that back four, because I know they're prone to so many errors. So that's why he played Torreira, Xhaka, and Guendouzi.
Do you know what? This is the thing. And before the game, when I saw the lineup, I was happy with it. I looked at it and I thought, you know what, that looks all right, because I really didn't think that we were going to be so defensive-minded behind those three. I thought one of them was going to let loose and be creative to help them, release the ball early, so to speak. By half-time, I was like, what on earth was that? We were so defensive-minded in terms of the ball just was not being released to the front three. There was no point in having them. And I was like, this needs to change. And I feel that Emery went too cautious. Tottenham were there for the taking. We're at home. I feel that the last thing on his mind should have been worrying about the defence. It should have been worrying about the creativity and tearing Tottenham to pieces, to the point where even if we conceded 1 or 2 goals, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have scored 4 or 5. So what's the old saying? Attack is the best form of defence. And at the moment, we know defence is not great, but we've got Tierney, Rob Holding and Hector Bellerin to come back into that. And I feel that we will change completely as a side when those are all in and firing, which will still take a while yet. I feel Tierney's probably the one who's going to be the quickest in terms of coming back because of everything else. But I feel that Bellerin's going to be needing a couple months to really get up to speed, probably near Christmas time, given the severity of his injury. And the same with Rob Holding as well. He's going to need, I'd say, a bit less, probably about a month or so to adapt and get up to the speed of the Premier League again. But Rob Holding has been playing 90 minutes for the under-23s. Now it's about Premier League pace. He's got to get up to that pace. His fitness is no issues. And people that I've spoken to that have been to the under-23 games that he's been playing in have said he just looks a class apart. He stands out a mile. Fitness is absolutely fine. He's not even blowing after 90 minutes. But he's now got to make that integration back into the Premier League because it's a different level. So I think that, Emery's kind of being cautious. I do agree with certain
Has he changed
aspects
things
of what
too
you
much?
say. Well, this is the thing. Like, do you know what? Last season, we were constantly saying that he was changing things too much. 1 week, we would have 3 at the back, then it would be 4 at the back. It's very evident that his favoured formation is 4-2-3-1. But for 4-2-3-1 to work, you need to have fullbacks that utilise them positions, and they act as, effectively, wingers. But they can also have to be, defensive minded. The 2 best fullbacks in the Premier League for me, and I've said it all along, are Liverpool's. They know when to attack, they know when to defend. And it's very rare you ever see them getting caught up the other end and exposed at the back. I feel that we've got 2 players that can replicate what Liverpool are doing pretty close in Hector Bellerin and Tierney. But we need to get them back. Because at the moment, we've got Kolasinac, who loves to get forward, but I don't think he even knows what the word defend means. The only time I've seen Kolasinac defend is when he was chasing the 2 guys on the motorcycle off. Do you know what I mean? But it was, though, because Tottenham exploited that area that Kolasinac left void during the first half so much. Because he's up the other end constantly. But
that's what I'm saying. That's why maybe the manager in that game thought I need to have like a few defensive-minded players. I just think it was too over the top. Like I said before the game, when I looked at it, I thought, you know what, this could be all right. Because I was looking at it and I was thinking, right, Torreira's going to be the shield. Xhaka's going to be the one that takes the first or the second ball and releases it. And Guendouzi's going to be the energy. And he can literally just play between the lines, feed Pepe, feed Aubameyang, etc., etc. When the game unfolded, Torreira was playing more as a number 10. Guendouzi was playing pretty much alongside him. And Granit Xhaka was left all on his own with wave after wave coming at him. And I was like, what's going on? It was completely wrong. What is this fascination with playing Torreira further forward?
we know what we signed when we got him. Put him back to where he's best, which is the one that sits as the deep-lying defensive midfielder that sits in front of the back four, gets the tackles in, does the dirty work, releases it for the players to go and express themselves further forward. But for some reason, Torreira's this further forward player now, and I don't understand it, even against Liverpool. Look at the goal. It was Torreira because he's the furthest forward player. I don't understand none of that. I mean, and so in that respect, I feel we need to go back to basics in that. Emery needs to... I don't think Emery's had his preferred 11 since he's been here, to be honest. I think he's tinkering around with things because he hasn't got...
He's just tinkering a lot.
The right personnel.
You know, I'm starting to hear rumblings from the fans starting to get a bit frustrated.
Well, you will hear rumblings because
this week and the next week and a different... You know what I mean? What's, you know...
Look, Robbie, I've said it all along, right? And I'll back the manager all the way, okay? And anyone that wants to sit here and laugh about the whole Wenger situation, this, that, the other. Wenger was here 21 years. I backed the man for about 15 of those. Okay, so get this myth out of your head that I never backed Arsene Wenger or this, that, the other. For 15 years, the guy was like God to me and to pretty much most Arsenal fans. But there came a point where enough was enough. Pretty much, yeah. He turned into the devil. And it was
he didn't.
No, because he overstayed his time here. And when you look at all the crap that we've just got rid of and everything that's gone on within the summer, you see just how much of a mess we were left in by Gazidis and Wenger.
The Tactical Insight show with Graham that we did, right? Watch that show. If anybody haven't seen that, watch that show. He did a comparison with Wenger and Unai Emery. It's not great. The Emery's stats are down on Wenger's. Last season, as Graham was pointing out, he's using Wenger's last and worst season. And even then, Wenger's stats are kind of better.
But what I will
More
say,
attacking, better defensively.
But what I will say is that Unai Emery's came in, his first season is using players that he doesn't want, using players that are just not good enough. They're being asked to try and play a different style to the style that Wenger was playing. He wanted us to, set up differently.
It's his job.
Everything's but listen.
Head coach is his title now. It's not. You're not the manager anymore. When you come in, you're the head coach.
Robbie,
you know what the players you get.
Robbie, apart from when Conte come into Chelsea in his first season, managers have gone into their clubs first season and not hit the ground running. Pep Guardiola just made top 4 when his first season with Manchester City. Jurgen Klopp joined, if you want to take the first full season, or the season when he came a couple of weeks after the window shut, the season started, he finished about 8th. Everyone takes time. Okay, so you have to give Emery the benefit of the doubt over the first year.
How long would you give him?
Well, he's got a contract till the end of this season, and quite simply,
if he missed out on top 4 by the end of the season, and you were in charge,
if he doesn't make the Champions League, he's out the door.
You just said you back him.
No. You back him till the end of the season, but there's no excuses.
No, you said because I tell you what, I'm backing him.
Yes,
no matter what.
I'm backing him until the end of this season because you look at what's been done. What I will say is, let's have a look at everyone around. All right, let's have a look. Let's look at this logically here, right? Man City and Liverpool are where we all want to be. They're the top 2. Where they're going to finish, who knows? But they're the top 2. That leaves 2 more places for the top 4. Chelsea have got a novice in Frank Lampard as their manager, and their results are showing that as well. It's still early, but it's a great chance to capitalise. All right, especially when they get Champions League football starting and games come thick and fast and everything else. They've got a weak squad, I feel, threadbare, with the fact that they weren't able to make signings. And then you've got Manchester United, who, again, let's be honest, they've got a novice in a manager in terms of where they are in the Premier League and everything. Their results already are showing that there's problems. I feel that they've not got strength in depth. They've been getting rid of deadwood as well, like us, but they've not been strengthening. They haven't got the luxury of having an Aubameyang and Lacazette and all that up front, where they got rid of Lukaku and Alexis. They've got to rely on Rashford, who's not proven himself consistently to be the main scorer in the Premier League. Greenwood, who's a kid. And then Martial, who's got less goals than Aubameyang in double the time in the Premier League. So he's got to prove himself as well. So if we can't get in the top 4 ahead of those two sides, not even including Spurs here, but if we can't get in to the top 4 ahead of those two sides, then there's no excuses. It's the perfect opportunity.
Are you confident we will get into the top 4?
I am confident that we will get in the top 4 because I feel that we will have enough. I feel that we will beat quite a few teams along the way. I feel that we will probably struggle against the top 6 sides away from home, and we will probably end up with the same stories like Liverpool and Man City, etc., etc. Be interesting when we go to Old Trafford in a few weeks to see how well we are in comparison, because predominantly even when we had an amazing team, we always done shit at Old Trafford. But
last time went on a Monday night.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck. Yeah. Oh, Danny Welbeck. Speaking of Danny Welbeck, our next league game, we might well be facing him.
Yeah, Watford. He might be fit
as well.
for that game.
Well,
yeah.
There you go. And then Ismail Sarr as well.
Yeah, he's a good...
And we know all about him.
I remember him from Rennes.
Yeah, but at least he ain't going to be skinning Monreal.
Boy, he was a good player, man.
He ain't going to be skinning Monreal.
He was as quick as I've seen, man.
I know, it was quick. it was just... But yeah, look, when... This is the big problem as well. Unless something happens in the meantime, the biggest pressure that Josh Kroenke and all that are going to have this summer is if Unai Emery doesn't make the top 4, even if he does make the top 4, to be honest with you, there's still going to be people that are going to go, get Allegri. Because when you sit there and say, who's available? He's available. He's sitting there, twiddling his thumbs, taking a year off. So if Emery doesn't make the top 4, then I feel that there will be no support, really.
You're in charge. Summer comes, we've made the top 4.
Yep.
We've got in at 4th. But Allegri, through his people, makes a call that comes through to you, who says, I'm here, I'm available, I'm really interested in the Arsenal project. Take me now, or I'm going to go to one of the other clubs, Chelsea, all these other clubs that will be looking for a manager. What would you do?
Do you know what? The worst thing about answering that is...
Answer the question,
just
man.
Relax yourself, all right?
Answer the question. Don't tell me nothing about
I'm being very careful with... Listen,
now,
yeah?
Answer, stop being a politician.
No, because...
Your name's not Boris Johnson.
No, it's not politician.
Right?
Do you know the reason why I'm being careful what I say?
Answer the question.
There's a reason why I'm being careful what I say now. Because of out of context. Because
stop worrying about out of context.
They keep ripping. Connor's doing my nutting, man. He's ripping me to pieces.
Stop worrying about out of context,
no,
right?
No, look. What I'm trying to say.
Do?
No, look. This is what I'm trying to say. Is that
submission
at the end of the season, we could have really changed things around in the way that we're playing. We could be, so much better. We could be so exciting. Everything's all falling into place lovely. And you look at that and you'll say, you know what? I'm going to carry on with the project of Emery because he's showing me that he's getting the best out of these players now. We need to add a few little additions so we can make that step now to Liverpool and Man City. Or we could scrape into the top 4. We're still getting slapped away from home. There's no, real change or showing that anything's moving forward. And you can say, thank you. You've got us to where we need to go now. Someone else will have to take that next step. But I can only answer that question at the end of the season when I've seen what has happened.
Yes, Boris.
You're like, hey,
politician, man.
I'm getting
Boris
good.
Johnson,
I'm more media trained now, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it. So it's kind of, but no, you get what I'm trying to say. You can't. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is, if Emery does take us into the top 4, win the Europa, for example, or we're playing this brilliant, expansive football. The fullbacks have now come in. Everything's gelling and working. Then why would you break that up? For someone else to come in and change
I think
everything.
It's very important for Emery to show us what his style of play is. Because at the moment, a lot of fans are saying,
I don't know what it is.
What is it? What are Arsenal now?
His favourite word.
Are we defensive? Are we attacking?
What's his favourite word? Pragmatic.
Well, we don't have a style at the moment of playing. I know what Liverpool's style is. I know what City's style is. I kind of know what Tottenham's style is. I don't know what our style is. I really don't know what our style is at the moment, and I think that's going to be very important for him to establish that. Not just chopping and changing all the time, but we've got a definitive two things: the style, and also, I think people want to see, people really want to see what he does away from home this season. That is vital as well.
Yeah.
Before we leave today, I want to ask you, drop this question in, right? Just been going around a lot over the past few weeks, and it's been the racism thing. Online, we've seen players get abused. We saw Pogba missed a penalty, got abused online. We saw Tammy Abraham, same thing. We've seen it with Rashford, right? As a person that's on social media a lot, right, what do you think needs to happen? How do we stop? Is it Twitter's fault? Is it just a society thing? How do we deal with this? Because it seemed to be happening regularly. I know that was the thing that I found very interesting. The other day, the Calgary supporters are racially abusing Lukaku, and we were all getting on saying, "Oh, it's terrible over there in Italy," and which it is, but we still ain't sorted out our act here in the UK. This keeps happening. There's been incident after incident since the start of the season. What is it? Is it the companies like Twitter?
They're going to have to do something.
Who's this down to?
Well, firstly, you might have to look at the parents first and foremost.
Sometimes it is the parents.
Sometimes. But what I mean is that social media does so many good things. The reason why we're where we are is because of social media, because the amount of people that can view what we've got to say on our football club and stuff. So in that respect, it's amazing. But then on the flip side, it's also give a lot of people the license to think that they can say whatever they want without getting a smack in the mouth, to be brutally honest. Because if, half of the stuff that you said online was said to someone's face, they'd be on the floor. But
is that why so many people was looking for you?
Oh, shut up. This guy, he's always got to try and turn something against me, isn't he? But
anyway, seriously.
One of the things that was said, and I said this a long time ago, and I know recently Man United players have said it and everything, I feel that you should have to, produce identification to open up accounts. Because, there are, false IDs and stuff like that about and whatnot. But how many people have them to hand? And, it would kind of clamp down, because the problem is that an account will get suspended on Twitter and within 5 minutes, they've got another one.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, they've got another one and another one. And you know what? I've seen it on YouTube as well, because you remember there's this big thing about the comment section in YouTube, and the comments in YouTube are worse than Twitter or anywhere else. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But it's to a point where they actually mock you, because you block someone's account on YouTube and then they'll come back with the exact same name that they had, but then number 2, to notify you, to basically say, this is my second account. You'll block that one and they'll come back with a number 3 on the end, then a number 4, then a number 5, and it's just relentless. The technology we have now, you can block IP addresses. You can do all these type of things. You can nullify it. People say...
Why aren't these companies doing it?
Well, I don't know. Because it costs a lot of money for them to implement it, maybe. But when you think about how big the corporations are, it's a drop in the ocean. But the thing that gets me is that people say, how would they be able to implement that now to everyone that's got accounts? Well, it's pretty simple. You would notify everyone that has a Twitter account via the emails that you have linked to your account and everything. You have 28 days now to produce identification. If you don't produce your ID within 28 days, your account gets frozen. Not permanently deleted, it gets frozen, because you never know, someone might be away or might not be on Twitter all the time, so they need more longer than 28 days. Then that account is not active, so it can be used or anything, but it gets put in like a hold, like a frozen, for say a 90-day period, where you then have from then 90 days to claim your account. To reactivate it, open it, fine. Send your ID in, not a problem. If after a 90-day period, your account is not being then it's permanently deleted, gone. So in total, you get well over 100 days to, you know, and it's an easy way of doing it. And, you know, if someone sent identification, you know, notification to yourself and me and everything, we could just sit there 2 minutes, bang, 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 bang. Upload passport, driving license, whatever. Bang, done, cool, counts registered, cool. If I start being racially abusive or homophobic and whatnot, trace it back, there you go, job done. But it's all the people that seem to just tweet with, you know, pictures of footballers or no pictures at all, they're eggs. And it's just like...
and, you know, I mean...
But it would stop it, because at the end of the day, it would stop it, because yes, you would still have some that slip the net. Yes, you would still have some that, you know, go and be racist. Because there are, let's be honest, there are actual real accounts that are being racist as well. This ain't just people that are hiding. There are people there with, you know, I've had people send abuse to my children. And there was one recently where they were mocking my brother's death. And when you go to their account, you're thinking, all right, yeah, you ain't going to find nothing here. You're scratching your head, you're like, it's a real account, it's a real person. Go through their photos. You know, there was one person abusing my children, and I went into their account and there's pictures of them with their kids. And I'm thinking, you're a father as well. How would you like me to just start slating your children? Do you know what I mean? And people that have like their job titles in the thing, because I had someone up once before, someone that went after my children once. When I went onto their profile, it had their work at in there. They work for Boots. So I went and at Boots, told them straight, I said, is this what you allow from your employees? Within 24 hours, the guy was begging me to take the tweet down and issuing public apologies. So it ain't just people that hide. There are genuine people. But if there's identification process, we would know who they are. So when someone decides, because do you know what, quickly as well, I think this has become a common thing now. I think this is like a craze. Because the moment someone misses a penalty now, or does something wrong in a game and they're black, people just decide to go and be racially abusive. You kind of know it's coming.
So do you think it's a mistake to highlight it?
Maybe it is, because it's now given them a little something to get their little ego kick, their little, I'll get a few likes and everyone's going to talk about me for 24 hours. And that is something to some people, you know, rightly or wrongly, but you know what I mean? But it is the moment, who is it? Pogba missed that penalty in the game for Man United. I knew straight away there was going to be racial abuse.
And these are Man United fans.
I know, and they're not Man United fans. Let's use that lightly. They're not Man United fans.
They are people who say they support the club, but they're a disgrace.
Yeah.
And you know, we know Man United fans, and they're not like that. So you know, it's disgusting. But I love to find out what people listening and watching the show think about it. Leave that in the comments as well. And listen, thanks for watching the show. It's an international break. We didn't really touch on the international break because there's no Arsenal players playing for... That's bad, isn't it? No Arsenal players.
Leno's with Germany.
No, in the England team.
Oh, England. Fuck England. I don't give a shit about them.
You can't say that.
Yeah, I can. I don't give a shit. What do I care about the England? I don't care. I don't care about the England internationals. Maybe when the World Cup comes around and we can all go and spend time in the pubs in the summer and throw beer around, then I'll be all right. But for all this, nah, man.
Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget, you can download the show. All the links are in the description. And also, don't forget, let us know what you think of the 888 video. Get over and, make your comments on that as well. And we'll be back next week.